Lucky Fortune Tarot. I need to restart my audio panel. Be right back. Sorry. So what I was saying was, in the French Connection movie. Thank you, Matkov. Sorry. See, it's because I didn't press the button. Again, it's another button I didn't press. But in the French Connection, Gene Hackman, it's a 1971 movie by William Friedkin, the director who just died last week. The French Connection is a brilliant movie about cops in New York City in 1971, and they're tough, like dirty cops, sort of, and nasty. But Gene Hackman does this thing where he's acting, and he's like putting his finger in people's faces, like, you're going to tell me the truth. You're going to tell me this. You're going to do that. And he's like getting his fingers in there in every scene. You see his fingers like all up in the camera. And I just thought it was an interesting choice for an actor to do all this hand acting. Yeah, there was a French Connection too. Yeah. But the French Connection, the first one, it's really like, although almost nothing happens in it, the movie is literally about two cops who think a huge drug deal is going down in New York City in 1970-71. And they just want to try and figure out when it's going to happen. And all they're doing is like following a guy. And so the entire movie is basically them just following this person around Manhattan in cars or on foot, trying to be sneaky and just following him. And there's one car chase where they're still basically just trying to follow someone. But so that's all it is. The movie is simply about two cops following a guy around Manhattan to see if he's a drug dealer. And they kind of screw it all up. And that's the movie. There's nothing in the movie other than that. That's it. There's no real detective work. There's no like clever stuff. And so but it's still really brilliant. So I think the second one, the sequel, is more complex. But, I mean, how interesting is that a guy comes in Hollywood and says, hey, I'm going to make a movie. It's going to be a real fascinating crime movie. And then the producer says, well, what happens in it? And they go, well, two cops just follow a guy around. Well, so that's it? That's like scene one? No, that's the entire movie. So French Connection is like one of those it's one of those things that makes me laugh. It's actually an experimental film made by a young guy who snuck it into the Hollywood system, but he was actually faked them all out, and he just got an experimental film up in theaters, and everybody went, whoa, this is awesome. And I remember it's like a big hit. Yeah, but well, because they convinced him, because he was probably trying to convince them. It was the end of the 60s, early 70s, and there was all kinds of crazy stuff happening in Hollywood. Like these young guys came up. He was one of the guys, Friedkin was along, like Spielberg hadn't even come in yet quite, but he was one of those young, crazy kook kids that came in that late 60s, early 70s Hollywood when everything was like up for grabs. People would, a movie like French Connection didn't cost anything to make. He even filmed the car chase, apparently, without even telling and getting official permits in New York. And he was like kind of embarrassed later because they filmed this car chase and they actually think they endangered some pedestrians. You could never do that now. But so they filmed these things with amazingly minuscule budgets. So they were able to get more things made that were like on the crazy side. But I just thought it was interesting. So I heard he died, and then I read an article about French Connection, so I read it. And so I watched it. And I was like, wow. This thing, if you made this today, everybody would be going like, oh my God, this is crazy. Here we are 50 years later, and if you tried to make that today, people would be like, this is just genius. I can't believe I was talking with my mic muted. At first, I was having trouble with the audio panel itself as a whole. I had to reboot it. And then I start yammering on about the French Connection, and I'm doing all the Gene Hackman hand acting, and my mic is muted. This is just my typical how I do things, at least today. It's like, okay, let me go and it's Monday. Yeah, I must be still sleepy. Tarot table scene. Oh, God. Hey. I'm such a goofball. Okay, yeah, I opened a queue. Okay, good. And how's this candle doing? Is it still lit? Barely. All right, let's see. Oh boy. Well, 10 of Wands. It's not a bad one. The 10 is like, well, I come trudging in to the house after digging the ditch. My boots are all muddy. I take them off. I sit down at the table. I put my feet up on there, and I reach for a drink or something, or like my dinner, and I'm like, oh, man. Dug another hole. Got through it. It's all finished. Now I can have my dinner and get ready to wake up tomorrow and start project number 2. That's kind of the 10. That's what it's like. I had for dinner, for me, yes, Geert Karel. I had these for dinner. Well, I'm still having them. They're so good. They're squishy. Yep. Lifesaver squishy ones. But these are the regular ones. I think I need to get the wild berry. Get my headphones off. It's going to make me start yelling in the mic. There we go. That's probably better. Don't need the headphones, man. Because if I have the headphones on, then the music's playing in my ears. And I'm just like, I can't hear what I'm saying. Oh, is it good? Okay, well, so what I did... Yeah, I have time. So Matkov, what I did is I went... I don't know if you're into audio and everything with streaming, but I got one of the Rodecaster Pros. It's called a Rodecaster Pro 2, and it gives you sliders, like 6 of them. 6 sliders. You can also do things like wait, I gotta hear what I'm doing. What is the thing? Oh, wait. Let me get my... I'm trying. Or... These are sounds I'm making with the panel by hitting these big buttons. You can pre-set like different sound effects and stuff. So there you go. Anyway, and then so if you get an XLR mic, XLR mic has the big plug with the 3 little prongs in it. You get an XLR mic and you plug it into the Rodecaster board. Then I guess you're supposed to have, if you don't mess it up like I do, you get good sound out of it. So, all right. Hi, Ash. How are you? Okay. So, Geert, it's you. You're up. Ash is next. So, Geert, give me... you already gave me a topic. You are interested in possible love. Oh, that's the name of the person, Janzuk? Possible love. So it seems like you are wondering. Yanzuk. Okay, you are wondering to yourself whether or not something will come of what you're sort of feeling at the moment. I'm guessing, and so the tarot will try to give you some little indicators of things to sort of kind of let I think the word ponder, but more like sort of steep the you steep the tea for a while and see what kind of how it tastes in a couple minutes. You try to avoid things since she's in a relationship with someone else okay, so yeah, this happens when we like people, we feel like something for someone, and they're already in something, and we don't know what to do about it, right? This happens, and yeah, I know exactly how that it makes you wonder what will come. Okay, so let's see. Let's give it a these feelings are they're nice to have, right? Here's our primary. Here's our under the surface, unconscious, unaware sort of force influence. Here's our something that we need to be aware of coming up very shortly. Let's look at our primary signal. Okay, so the upside down Ace of Wands, there's your passion. There's your creative energy. There's your drive. You in this case, it's desire, right? It's a sense of desire. A lot of it there. There's a lot of possibility, but it's reversed. There's a hold up. There's a catch. Now, this could very well simply be repeating what you've already said. There is a hold up because someone is in a relationship, right? They're already committed and it's been a long time. So clearly there's a block. There's something that you don't know how that's going to work. And that's why this is upside down. So the reading is basically saying, okay, yeah, that is significant. That's a very significant factor here. And it shuts down a lot of avenues that you could take otherwise, right? It's just common sense. You have to be careful. You have to be very delicate in a situation where any three people are involved. Any pre-existing situation is involved. You have to be respectful, right? If you're not respectful of that, then the other person, it'll hurt the other person. You know what I mean? You just can't win, and you have to be very delicate. And so that's what this is saying. It's saying this passion, this drive, it can't just move forward. It can't just say, "Oh, I'm full of potential," and move forward. It can't. It has to sit back. It has to hold up. Okay? Now, on the left, we've got a very physical aspect. And again, this is reversed. The Queen of Coins. And she's very focused and very capable in the physical realm, the material realm. This could be the physical attraction. This is this could be circumstances also. It's reversed. So the Queen can't quite apply her, her sort of calm, nurturing understanding of the situation. She's also kind of in reserve. She's observing. She's very observant. She has a very calm sense of security in herself, physically, in her situation, okay? She's able to handle what's ever required situationally and physically in this. Whatever potential there is, she's totally up for and can handle pretty much anything thrown at her, but she can't make moves. She's got to be very, very diplomatic in this situation. Now, coming up, we have another reversal. 6 of Swords. That's ideas. That's conversation. That's exchange of ideas. The 6 is very much about community, and there's a hold up there also. So the swords are about your mental processes and expressing things verbally, discussion, resolution, negotiations, but figuring things out. That's what it is. And the 6 is all about sharing, being open, being communicative, but it's upside down. So even that is stopped. So it means you have to be, according to this, the suggestion is tread carefully, stating intentions openly at this time may not be so advisable. It's sort of basically saying, and this Queen is important because even though she's upside down, the basic idea here represents a calm understanding of the situation and gentle handling. Okay? And ultimate confidence in whatever the outcome is. So she is there to tell you that the behavior required is, she's not going to blow it. The Queen doesn't just do things impulsively and make a mess out of things, okay? So upside down, in this case, suggests that she advises moving very slowly and gently and not doing anything to rock the boat right now. That, I believe, is the general idea here. Don't rock the boat. Be careful, respectful. Don't let your passion drive the show. Let the Queen's natural sort of sense of propriety handle the situation and wait and see how things develop. See if more indications are forthcoming. That's what the Queen would do anyway. And right now, getting wound up and being very sort of, and openly discussing it all, it doesn't seem like it's in the cards here. It seems like maybe being a little bit sort of a little choosing words carefully. Ton of messages Then other days won't respond. You know, the thing is, it's hard to tell what people are doing. You know, texting, you don't know what's going on with people, who they're with, what they're doing, and then your mind just sort of drifts around and tries to come up with all possibilities, right? Well, the Queen is very much, she doesn't let that throw her, okay? She doesn't let that get the best of her. She doesn't get all impulsive. She doesn't start blurting out ill-advised comments. She's very like, okay, I can wait. Hard to say. But these cards are very much about taking a very wait and see approach. I mean, they're all three reversed across the board. They're all three basically saying, whoa, slow, slow, slow. And the Queen is all about not being impulsive and pushy. But she's also about confidence. You're very welcome. Ash Bifrost, you are up. Ash Bifrost. Go ahead and tell me your topic, and I will see what I can do with this stack of cards. Chikoto. Oh, yes, Matkov, this is the Tarot de Marseille. And it's so funny because in the movie The French Connection that I saw, the first place in the movie is Marseille in France. Okay, Ash, just looking if there's anything you should be paying attention to. Okay, in general, you're missing right. All right, let's see. Let's have a look here. What are we? Ooh, here's one. All right, our top signal coming off the mountain. All right, we have the Page of Cups. Page of Cups. Now, Page of Cups is a very enthusiastic, young, learning person. A person who wants to know more about what they feel. They want to follow their heart. They want to find what it is they love. Jaff. I call you Jaff. Okay. Ash, they want to know what it is. They want to know. They want to know what they're really feeling. They want to know what they love. They want to figure out what they love to do for real. That's what it is. That's what that card is. It wants you to focus on what your heart is saying. Okay? So if there's something going on with feelings, it wants you to delve in more. That's what that is. Now, unconsciously over here, we've got an active Knight of Swords, and they just go rushing in. They just go driving through. They break through the barrier. You know, they have an idea and they go straight ahead with it. They tell everybody. They put the idea into effect. Bingo, right away. This is like, well, there's not. It's upside down. So it's saying, that's not happening. Putting your thoughts into action at the moment just isn't quite working. It's probably not advisable. That's why the card's upside down. So constraining the urge to rush into action or rush into a conflict or start talking about things that you're not ready to express yet. It's there's sort of a hold up there. The advice seems to be to take that a little slower. Explore the heart. Explore your feelings about something. Whatever it is that pops into your head, whatever it is that's in this recent moment, the card wants you to dig into that and find feeling. It's all about feeling right now. And over here, we have the 8 of coins. Now that's physical, material, that's work, that's money, that's the body, that's your health, that's anything that's sort of practical that you may need. And the 8 is this number of there's potential for change, but it's also the number of real application of everything you know, all your abilities, using your craft, putting in the work, keeping the hammer going on the chisel, really putting that perfection in, because you're aiming for perfection. And the 8 is all about like a balanced approach, a serious effort, continued work. There's possibility of perfection coming from this 8. This may be that as you explore what it is you really love or explore your recent feelings, that may have an effect coming up here on the right side of sort of improving your general situation and presenting to you what it is you're really good at and allowing you the opportunity to apply that in your life more. That's what that 8 is. Now, getting into your head and talking about things at this moment or rushing into some sort of conflict or negotiation is ill-advisable according to this card. So it's all about heart, following your heart, doing what you really feel is what you really makes you feel good. And coming up that approach, getting out of your head, leads toward some kind of new opportunity and a balanced approach to your work, perhaps, to what it is you do and need. Follow your heart. This is a very important card in this reading. Give your heart the attention it needs right now. It's not a big deal. It's not a huge thing going on for months. This is a very sort of immediate thing to think about. Matkov. Yes, it's you. It's you now. You're very welcome, Ash. Currently thinking about switching careers. I'm working hard to make the switch. But I wonder if I'm going in the right direction, if that makes sense. The new path is going to require hard work, but I think it might be worth doing it. And it has nothing to do with money. Okay. So, working hard to make the switch. I wonder if I'm in the right direction. Chariot. Primary signal coming out. The thing that's most visible about the circumstance. The Chariot, clearly, right off the bat from that, it's leadership, It's leadership. It's success. Its ability to control the situation. It's victory. That's a victory stance. That's a victory. That's riding through the gates of the castle victoriously. He's not worried about where those horses are going. He knows they're taking him wherever he needs to be. He's achieved something. So this is about success, this reading. Over here unconsciously, this is something not really seen clearly in the situation, is the Queen of Swords thinking, the mind again, ideas, discussion, and she's upside down. So there's clearly maybe some nervousness about, a little bit of confusion, because the Queen is she's not confused. Tends to be, she's very calmly aware. She's in control. She has power. She expresses her power differently than the king does, but it's power. It's authority. And she's not feeling really that. She's feeling more like upside down, this confused sort of, she's not fully confident yet. And this could simply be reiterating the fact that you aren't sure about the right direction. But the Queen's energy is there because she appears, and that means that there is this ability to gently make wise decisions that benefit and grow everything around you, that grow yourself, but also are good for others. So the Queen always has a nurturing quality. She brings things more to life. Kings tend to sort of stampede through things. So there are issues with her here, upside down, because she's kind of at a low level of energy, and she's more confused than she likes to be. That's all that really means, and that's kind of under the surface. Like, I don't know quite which way to call it here, so it's under the surface, but it's influencing things. And then over here, okay, Three of Wands upside down. Three of Wands is putting things into effect, is taking your creative ideas, your passions, your drive to make something, and actually taking action on them. And so it's saying that coming up here, something to deal with is a hesitation to putting your ideas into effect. There's a hesitation, there's a holdup again. Now, the overall view here is of success with the Chariot. There's control, there's mastery, there's achievement, victory overall. So, and it's the primary card. It's the major arcana card. So it's saying that force is very strong, and it's the primary source that is controlling everything here. The confused thoughts about which way to go here are secondary and will fade. Those confusions will fade away. This is in a sort of sub-level. This is an influence, but it's subtle. This is more obvious, and it's, the upside down three, again, it's like, it's hard to step out of the planning stage and put your creative energies into actual effect. That's what that card is saying. But if you rely upon this innate leadership capability that you have, you will find success. You have to remind yourself of this card. That's why it's there in this particular reading, to remind you that you have this undeniable ability and a success factor going on for you. So the cards are not really, if they're trying to sort of guide in a direction, they don't guide in the direction of which career path to take. They're basically saying, look at leadership. What is it about you, your leadership capacity, that sort of, whatever it is that makes you feel like the person that achieves success, and this is a card of ego. Okay, the ego gets inflated by the Chariot card, not in a negative sense necessarily. It gets whatever is the boost that makes you feel like the commander. That's what that card is. And it's the reading is trying to sort of lean you toward whatever it is that gets that sense in you going of, I am the commander, master and commander, that's wherever that is for you is where the cards are kind of aiming. And they're saying these other things, these hesitations, they're there. They're part of the equation. And figuring this out won't happen immediately, but it's not going to take long. After all, this is just a number card. It's not too significant. This is the primary. This will overcome these hesitations here. The hesitation in mind and confusion of thought, like trying to figure out which way to go, and your inability to put your actual skills or your talents, your creative impulses into effect. These will be resolved by this, very successful. The cards want you to look at yourself as that, as the commanding success. Think of yourself that way. Boost your ego a little bit, and that will resolve the entire equation. Chatterbait. Hey. Leadership capacity. You're going to keep that in the back of your mind when deciding what to do. Once you decide, you should make the right choice. Ego is like snow. Yeah, a little is charming, yes. But a lot is dangerous. Yep. And you are up. Jaff, yes, you are up. Oh, thank you, Madkoff. Jeez. I was listening to radio. I was listening to some, how they always have those little groups, like they always have a pair on like rock radio, There's usually a morning pair and like an afternoon rush hour pair. And they're always like kind of funny, every once in a while I like to go to FM radio and listen to those guys in the car, You'll have to, so Jaff, you have to explain to me. Yeah, FM radio has that charm, exactly. I was sort of missing. I listened to some the other day and I was like, wow, I haven't listened to that kind of thing in a long time. It's actually kind of fun. I think what you're saying is like a prior life, right? Prior. All-seeing Mars. All-seeing Mars again. Thank you, Matkov. I like followers because followers get like little pop-ups when you go on stream. They get notified usually where it says, "Hey, the tarot stream's going well." I started talking tonight with my mic muted, so that was a little embarrassing. So you didn't choose to come to Earth of your own volition. It's just not your kind of scene, but you were asked by your group to stay for a little bit to learn something. So my question is, what was the plan? What are we looking for on Earth? Just want to know the plan. Yeah, the queue's open. Okay, so, I mean, that question is really, we all kind of ask that, you know. We all kind of want to know that. I mean, let's see what the cards can sort of give us a hint, you know? What's the plan? In other words, why the heck are we here? What are we supposed to be doing? The cards can say, you know, hey, kind of think about, or have you thought about? Have you considered this? Let's just see where they point us in the whole ocean of possibilities, where they might point us. So like a radio tower on top of the mountain range from a distance, what do we see? We see the 4 of coins. Now, the 4 of coins, you know, it's material world. It wants us to think about physical existence. And what could make more sense? Why would we be here? I mean, we certainly didn't find ourselves floating around in the clouds as pure thought bubbles. We didn't find ourselves as that. We find ourselves stomping around on a rock. You know? Right? And so, what could make more sense than giving us the 4 of coins, which says basically, yeah, the physical is the point here. Being a physical thing in the world is key to this particular reading. Walking on 2 feet, solidly connecting with physical plane of existence. And the 4 is very strong, very stable. The 4 is about solidity. It's about feeling at home where you are. The 4 is security. It's being in the home, protected, secure, safe, content. And that's what is at the very top of this reading, signaling very brightly. Connect with the physical sense of existence. If you put your concentration there, things start to happen. Things start to move. The stones begin to shift and you start to realize things, right? Now over here, we have the 10 of Swords in the unconscious, sort of under the surface influence. Now the 10 of Swords, you know, that's like the mind, your thought processes, how you're pondering the purpose. Why are we here? What is it that I'm doing or supposed to be doing, right? What are plans supposed to be? Your mind's going around and around and around. But what the 10 says is, hey, that work has been done. The card on the top of the mountain is saying, hey, let's think about physical reality right now. Let's concentrate on the feel. the feeling. And let's let the mind in the 10 take its rest now. We don't have to keep spinning this around in our brain. We've done that. It's time to let that go and get ready to make the next step, the next realization. We're going to understand something new coming up. That's what this card is saying. Now over here, we got two minds and the physical. Now the mind over here in the right is basically the reading saying, this is what I want you to look at consciously. This is what I want you to focus on with your put your look forward to this. And you have the King of Swords, which now is very secure in what he thinks and how he handles his thought processes and how he expresses himself. Very secure, very authoritative, very clear. So this tired mind, this mind of wondering and trying to figure all these things out, is very shortly going to be very clear, very understanding. Everything will make itself clear because this king that's what he's about. And he's able to handle whatever information comes and process it, and he can make very wise decisions based upon what he has come to understand. But the key that the reading is saying is physical. There's a physical element to being a person that is highly significant in this particular reading, this particular moment in time. And don't be afraid to enjoy that aspect of being a person. You know, what is it they do? What is it they do in Japanese Zen Buddhism sometimes? Person's meditating, and the Zen master sometimes will take a stick and go boom and scare the person, right? And they do that for a reason, and I believe I've read that the reason is to shock the senses. And by doing that, you can jolt the person out of getting wrapped up in thoughts by surprising the person in a physical way. And so this idea here that the cards are showing of really connecting physically with the senses is highly important. And it sort of matches that aspect of Zen Buddhism. So the cards don't say what the plan is. The cards say, here's an element that you could focus on, and you see what comes up, what you realize after doing that. This king is all about representing how he will understand, he will see the realization. He's capable of comprehending it when it comes. It has been said that the value of growth is in the adding of traits, not the shedding of the old. So the goal here is to relearn your attachment to 3D desires, physical means, wealth, and so on. "3D desires, physical means, wealth, and so on." Yeah, I mean, those are all qualities of the coins. And you have to keep in mind that the 4 represents firmness. It represents profound stability. So connecting with that physical aspect, the material aspect of existence, the card sort of leans toward a very, not tentative, but a very secure, solid connection, an understanding that the underpinning of this reading is all about the material, the physical. It wants to wake up to an awareness, a profound awareness of the physical. You know, it's almost like when you meditate, you lie there and the meditation leader says, think about or concentrate, put your focus on your head, and then move it down to the neck, and then move it to your shoulder. You know, you're feeling the profound, you're getting as in touch with your physical, whatever physical feelings you're having at the moment. And so the reading is doing that. It's saying, let the mind go for a while anyway. Let the physical sensations become paramount, and then the realization will come. That's what the reading is. Yeah, I mean, and you can see how these readings, it's funny because it's funny how it works, at least with me. The readings, I slowly become aware of what the reading is. As I'm doing the reading, I kind of become aware, it's this. There it is. It kind of I have to work through it. And then it takes a few minutes, and then it slowly clarifies, like I'm seeing it through wax paper initially, and then it clears. The fog clears slowly, right? Of course. That's a great statement, actually. Seek to grow, understand, and experience everything until this body turns to ashes. Yeah. Oh, good. That's great, Jeff. Absolutely. Thank you so much, because the thing is, I love to do it, and talking about it and stuff, and it's always like something new pops out every time I do this. Some little new thing comes up, or I learn something. It's like I'll learn something from something someone says, or I'll learn something because I just sort of figure it out from the cards or something. But it's just really interesting. Usually, because other people, they start talking to you about tarot, and they say things, right, that are like you just said with experience everything until this body turns to ashes, right? Well, that's a great phrase. So these things that we do with tarot like this, they're learning. We learn. Eating my gummy lifesavers. I've always liked candies that are like gummy bears. I've always liked those. But I don't eat candy. I went crazy this weekend, and I bought some candy at the grocery store to eat during watching a movie. And but really, I have not eaten candy in ages. And I was just like, whatever, I'll just do it. This is fine for a couple days. I'll enjoy it. But but I know people shouldn't eat a bunch of sugar. Everything we do, you're right. Yep. All Seeing Mars, you're up. Air pop popcorn. That's right. Yep. I have this thing I bought. It's like a bowl with a lid that has holes in it, so you can put a piece of butter on the top of the holes, and then you just put the popcorn kernels in the bowl, and you put it in the microwave, and it pops everything for you. And you don't have to use the butter, but you just put plain popcorn kernels in there. It works really well. So I do that. GG. Hi. All right, All Seeing Mars. It's your turn to pick something. Pick something, and we will insist that the cards give us something to chew on. They have no choice. They have to give us something. We'll make them. Look at my sad little candle. What's this? Look at that. Look at this. It's drowning in its own wax. God. Look at that. I have to pour some of the wax out. I know what to do. Here. I'm going to pour some in here. I know exactly what to do. Boop. There. Now we get a little more flame. Are you there, Mars? Are you there? Earth to Mars. Signaling Mars. Come in, Mars. Oh, there you are. You're getting closer and closer to your ancestors and going down a path. I even started doing a form of divination that they do. Is there more that I can be doing, or how do I get even closer to them? Like disconnect more from the practical world. Okay. Let's see. Yeah. It showed up. I think I must be having a brain disintegration. Okay, let's see what we get. Hi, Serenity. All right, we are going to begin. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to cut here. Pull one. Then I'm going to cut here and pull one. Then I'm going to cut here and pull one. Okay. Now, woo! the unnamed card, reverse. Now, so what we're talking about here, closer and closer to ancestors and path. You even started doing divination that they do. Is the more you can be doing. How do you get closer? How do you connect with forces that are subtle? How do you connect with forces that, you are not speaking from, are not physical, practical things, okay? Voices, they can be very inspiring. They can be almost magical, right? This card is all about ending something and renewing or preparing for the next thing, the next stage that we need to go through. But something ends. Now, this card is reversed here. So what it's suggesting is to be aware of there's something continuing that we can't quite get past. We can't end it yet. There's an attachment that's not allowing an end and a renewal, a growth for the next season, so to speak. So there's a cycle that may be held up. Something is, and we're talking about ancestors here. So let's focus on ancestors they are gone. They are in the past physically, right? If the idea is that they're in the past physically but can still somehow communicate, this card is talking about things in the past, things that are dying or dead, ended. But it also talks about enriching the soil of ourselves, of our own psyche, correct? And getting ready to grow and make a development. Now, the reversal is that development, that whatever is in the past, and we're trying to find a way to use what it gives us to learn from it. There's something not quite in sync there. We're not quite able to communicate with it. Judgment is underneath this. And judgment is very much about, not only about hearing the voice. Here we were talking about voices from ancestors, voices from the past, voices from things that have passed. And we have trouble hearing them. They're very quiet. They're very subtle. It's hard to access that, right? So the Judgment card is all about that, but it's also about how you feel that you can judge yourself when the time comes. Can you judge yourself and be comfortable with whatever it is you've done or chosen, or whoever you've been? It's hard to hear the voices. It's hard to understand what the message underneath all of this is. That's why this card is upside down. And it's in the subconscious position. So it's an important factor, but that we can't always see, but it's there. This difficulty in hearing and communicating with something that we kind of feel is important. Now, coming up, what the cards are saying, hey, look, coming up, and this isn't going to be a big difficulty. The number card. This is going to come very quickly and easily. It's the Six of Wands, and the Six is about communication. The Six is about harmonious, easy, cheerful community gathering and sharing. Because it's the Wands, the sharing is very sort of, there's a passionate sort of a connection, and everybody, it's creative. It further enhances whatever it is we wish to be and to do. It inspires us creatively. So the difficulty with accessing these forces from the past, and these cards really do talk about how difficult this is because they're reversed. It's not an easy thing. That difficulty, so here's the subtle thing about tarot. If you read reversals, they express a certain contradiction. You could look at this reversal up here as these voices are very, very close. They haven't passed away. They're very much alive. And that is another way of saying there's a hold up with this cycle of death and regeneration. It could say, well, they're not dead. They're very present from our psyche's perspective. They're very much present. and very significant because it's a big, big major arcana card. And so we have to pay attention. So it's in that ballpark with what the reading is wanting you to know, that these voices, these ancestral forces they are not following the normal cycle. They're not just gone, and they're probably very present. That's why it's reversed. They're refusing to die and give you become fertilizer for growth. They are there. They are making themselves, making you aware of them. Understanding the voice and seeing what it's, or hearing what it's telling you, being able to follow that is very difficult, and it's a worry. It's something that influences you underneath. You want to connect to these things, these forces. It's just not clear yet. You can't quite hear the sound, not as clearly as a bell or a horn. It's hard. It's hard to get there. But it's coming, and that community sort of sharing of your drive, of your creative energies, will offer you it will inspire, you will draw inspiration simply from all of this effort. The effort to communicate with these very present, really, forces will be an inspiring factor for you in whatever you are doing. I think that's the basic message here. And finding this inspiration over here and being able to communicate isn't going to be very difficult. This is a number card. This is not a big, dramatic achievement. This is something that will come in short order. So I think we can interpret this death or unnamed card reversed as suggesting that the death and regeneration process isn't really happening that way, that it's actually much more of a refusal to pass, to pass away. They're much more present in your reality for you, or you wish them to be, which is just as good, really, from the perspective of the tarot. These are all interior psychic forces, right? You wish them to be. You don't want them to be dead ancestors. You want them present. That's why this card is in reversal. Hearing them takes work. It's hard. The voice, it's not coming. It's not coming. They don't just come easily. But you will commune with these ideas. That's what sixes are about. Communing, sharing. That reading, that was a very, that did not reveal itself easily to interpretation. That took, that was a tough one. The unnamed card, it is a tough one. It never, hi Gigi, it never just, for me anyway, it never just announces itself clearly. I'm always like, what is it? Why is it here today? What is it doing today? That card is always up to something. It's always a bit mystery, You're welcome, all-seeing. That six, man, I'm telling you, the six is all about the sharing of ideas, the sharing of inspiration. And if you're communing with these forces, ancestral forces, however you want to refer to them, then that act of communing creates some kind of harmony for you. Six is a number of real beauty in the wands. Very beauty oriented. Okay, Gigi. You're up. And the cards are fully prepared to handle whatever you have. Whatever you would like to put out there for these cards, they are ready. That is your stack right now. So you let me know what your topic is, and we will take these cards straight to the races. I'm going to keep cutting them. General. Let's see what they're trying to say. We're going to do... okay. Let's take this one. All right. Let's look at our signal from the hill. Ooh. All right, Gigi. The moon card is upon us. The moon rises slowly through the trees. It brings up the psyche from underneath. It brings up the unconscious. The unconscious is now free to speak to us. The dream is upon us, basically. As we sleep, the dream comes, and it's one we wake up and we remember this one. And it has a lot, it's packed with such wild information that it can actually make things a little kooky. Like, things get a little unsettled around the moon, But it's about intuition speaking primarily. It's about the poetic part of us. It's about that mysterious part of us, the voice that is very, very hard to hear. We've got a theme running through tonight, the hard to hear voice, the internal voice, the unconscious, subconscious voice. That's what the moon is. And the moon is not reversed here. So we're able to get in touch with this. And it's saying, look, this is the big thing right now. The unconscious factors, whatever that part of you is that's a little crazy, a little on the like whatever it is that makes you want to write a poem or write a song or think about a poem or watch a kind of weird movie, all that, or weird dreams you have, it wants you to think about those things for a while. Let those things inspire you and influence you. Okay, that's what this is all about. Now over here, we've got the Hanged Man in reversal. So he looks like he's standing on one foot, right? And this is subconscious. This is the part of that underneath all of this, the part that's kind of not being paid attention to right now. And the Hanged Man he drops the ego. He says, look, I'm just going to kind of take it easy and not worry about being Mr. like in control or in charge. I have to see things from a new perspective. So perhaps there has been some issue with it. Maybe your ego has been a little strong lately. Maybe you're a little anxious to do things or to get things done, or you want to make something develop, and you feel a little hurried. Okay, you're maybe pushing yourself to get something, to understand something, or to become something. And whereas the Hanged Man wants to just kind of say, look, I'm going to let this time pass that I need to process. I also need to see things differently than maybe I've been used to, but you've maybe felt like you can't quite afford that. You almost feel selfish sometimes to take that time for ourselves. It's like staring at a tree for 4 days, and doing nothing. That's what the Hanged Man's able to do. But if he's reversed, he's feeling bad about doing that. He's feeling a little nervous about it, a little guilty. Doesn't want to do that. And that's the issue that the cards are saying. Okay, that's something that maybe is underneath. And then coming up here, something to really think about is, wow, the cups. 9. The 9 is all about, there's a lot of feeling. There's been a lot of exploration, of new feelings, profound feelings coming. And it can be hard. It's tiring. Throws a lot at us, right? But that 9 is also about, we're almost making a breakthrough. We're almost coming to a big new realization about our feelings, about our heart, about what it is we want, what we love, how we feel, where we feel love, right? And so the 9's like you're almost there, but it's insisting that you continue to put the effort in to get there, because you're not quite complete yet. And so, this seeking of the unconscious, paying attention to the dream form, getting past the feeling that you need to be or do something quickly, and looking out for an experience or a development soon that fills you and makes you realize what it is you're really loving at this time. It's going to be there. It's going to require that you really put effort into dealing with those feelings before you can say, okay, I understand them completely. But it's coming, and you're about to get there. In order to get there, you have to make this hangman actually perform his function of dropping the ego, dropping the urgency, and follow or pay attention to what the subconscious is saying. Things in the moon card, the reason you have water and the dogs howling is things are coming up. Things are slowly moving up from underneath and they become more conscious. It's about the subconscious becoming more visible, or parts of it, and how that influences the world around you and influences your perception. And it leads to this very full heart, very full of achievement. In other words, how you achieve in feeling. Well, you achieve in feeling by gaining a greater understanding of love and greater understanding of how your own emotions operate. And you had a nightmare last night. Of course. Of course. And now, of course, I've given you the moon card, so all I've done is create more nightmares. Oh my gosh. Serenity, your turn. You're up. Thank you, Gigi. So, Serenity, I am shuffling for you right now. Yeah. I'll leave it up. Absolutely. Yeah, I leave the VODs on there. Yeah. You're welcome. All right, so general. Okay. Let's give these cards a good shuffle. Let me do a nice poker shuffle. Oh, let's take that one. All right. Serenity. We have, that's the second time that card tonight has come up in the same position. Okay. The 4 of coins. It's solid. It's pointing us toward the physical realm, material, things, stuff, money, work, what we do to live. Okay? 4 is solid, strong, capable, secure, safe. Okay? It's the home. It's where you feel solid and comfortable. Okay? That's what it is. And the reading is saying, let's think about that. That's a big factor right now. Unconsciously, we have the devil. You know what the devil is? The devil is about being a prisoner. The devil is about being stuck. It's reversed. So that means not prisoner, not stuck. It's not that simple, though. I'm kind of joking. Because the devil being present at all indicates that there is concern, there is potential, there is prisoner control quality that we need to think about. There is this force of the devil card present. And it's reversed because it's saying, yeah, we are able to break free of it. We're able to break free of it. I mean, there are certain benefits to the devil card, accessing that kind of information about ourselves, that kind of the darker sides of ourselves. So in reversal, it's basically saying, let's stay away. We're moving away from that kind of energy, the devil energy. But the fact is that it's all about being chained, being controlled by something or someone. And as I always say, be very careful about assuming it's someone. This can be all about our own selves, how we internally get bound up and imprisoned by our own ideas or a feeling or something we can't stop doing. Okay? But what this card is saying is there's a great effort at freeing ourselves from this kind of thing. That's why it's reversed. So we are able and want to cut the chain that's binding us. Okay? So that's why this is here. And this is an unconscious force. This is something that's going on under the surface that you may be like, oh, I haven't even considered that, really. Now, coming up more consciously, wow. Suddenly the 10 of Cups shows up. We just had the 9 of Cups in the prior reading. Now we're at the 10. 10 of Cups is that heart. Bursting and full of feeling, and it's gotten somewhere. It's achieved something. It's the heart that's, it's like somebody saying, "Oh my God, I finally figured out what it is I truly love to do," or "Oh my God, I finally figured out who I've been in love with all this time." That's what the 10 is, and the 10 also says, it's taken a while to figure this out. The feelings have become clear, but it's been a while, and it's taken some effort. But we're now ready for the next part, the next act in life. We're ready. This is coming up. This is something the reading wants you to be very aware of. So, physical security, very primary here. By engaging fully in the real, in the solid, in the material, in the physical aspect of living, and enjoying that and feeling secure in it, by really engaging with it, Like if you love to lift weights, you really go and you do it. Whatever that is, that's what the 4 is. Real, solid connection in the 4. No wavering. That energy will influence your ability to free yourself from something that perhaps maybe your mind has been going or something. It's something holding you down, and you're very capable of freeing yourself. That's why this card is upside down. And that all leads to a real full emotional life coming up very, very shortly. Physical connection leading to freedom from things that have maybe bound you up in the past, and leading to a very full emotional life. That 10 of Cups is always about really full heart, overflowing, basically. Celebratory. You celebrate the feeling. And then you say, I did it. I get it now. You're welcome, Serenity. There was a movie a few years ago. I saw it, I think, on YouTube. It was this guy who does tarot, and he was like leaving tarot cards around the city. Like he would prop them up like in odd little places, like along the sidewalk or something. I remember it was like he was a tarot reader. And he was, it was weird. I can't remember the name of it, the movie, but it was like a little documentary, I think, on YouTube, I believe, or maybe it was on Vimeo. But anyway, I actually found the guy a little irritating. I was like, he's just leaving little cards around on the sidewalk. And his idea was like, people will stumble across them and wonder what they are. I'm like, well, they'll just think it's somebody dropped a tarot card. Somebody will just think about it as a piece of trash lying on the street. So, but there actually aren't that many tarot documentaries. I think the History Channel did one a long time ago. I should check again. Maybe there's some new ones. This candle, I'm sorry, this candle has to go. It has to go. It's just ridiculous. Let me take some more wax out. There. It's the most ridiculous candle. It just drowns itself because it in its own wax. Oh my God, my lifesavers are gone. Oh my God. What am I going to do? Oh, well. I've been getting into, in the evening, Greek yogurt. Really good. Greek yogurt with black cherry. You know how they put the like fruit on the bottom, and you have to kind of mix it. Man, that stuff is good. And I always hated yogurt. I don't know what hell. Something changed in the last 4 months. Something changed. And suddenly I had one of these Greek yogurts. I was like, oh, these are actually really good. And so now I'll get like 12 of them, because apparently they're not bad for you. It's not like eating regular ice cream. Although now oh man, you know what? Now I want like straight up vanilla ice cream with chocolate sauce on top. Oh man, I should not have started talking. Yeah, I do an RP server for RedM, which is Red Dead Redemption. I run an RP server called RIP Roleplay, and I've been working on it for a long time. And nobody uses it yet. People just don't come. I guess they don't even know about it yet. But today, like the whole service that lets you connect to anything like that just died. Everything went down for 8 hours today. And I had tried at some point to connect to do something real quick and at lunch, and it was just dead for everybody. And it's so irritating. But yeah, so the in the role play, you go into a world and you exist in this Western world, but you can do tarot readings in there. I made a little tarot script thing where you can actually have the cards show. So that's the connection with role play and this. It's the tarot thing. So sometimes I'll go in there and do stuff in that world and do tarot readings and stream them right here, live out of the roleplay server. It's really actually kind of fun. But yeah, so I wrote this thing where a player in the roleplay server, like running around in Red Dead Redemption, can do readings for other players. And you'll see the cards up on screen, and they can share those cards with the player they're doing the reading for. So it ends up all being about tarot. It's all about the tarot cards all the time. They're very domineering. Actually, tarot is not domineering. It's actually very sort of a gentle kind of very sort of suggestion-oriented philosophy. Tarot never really says, this shall be. It says, this is something to think about. This is something to look at. This is something to sort of consider. Man, a lot of cups tonight. It seems like it's cup night. King of Cups. I've been looking around on, Etsy. You can do, I've seen people offer tarot readings on Etsy. So I guess you can connect to tarot readers there. and then you get their, you connect with them. You get a link, and you can schedule with them and do like a live one-on-one reading session. Different readers do it different. I was curious. I was sort of going through and looking at a few of these offerings, and some people say, okay, I'll do a reading and then I'll send you a link to the video file that I make. Other people do a live, like a Zoom call with you and do the reading. And I think the live Zoom call type idea is probably the most, somehow, I don't know, seems like the warmest sort of approach. It seems like you would have a good connection doing it that way, I guess. I don't know. Of course, you could do it just like this, basically. You don't have to do a Zoom call. I guess you could do like just a chat session and do it that way. There's all kinds of ways people do it. Some people send an email transcript of a reading, or email, whatever, a written version. I don't know. I was just curious how people approach this. Everybody's different. Some people use Calendly to schedule. Calendly's great. I looked at it. It works well. I actually signed up to make it get familiar with that kind of thing. It shows like your free people can register for like free your free time slots, that kind of thing. And then it'll send you an email. It says, someone just registered for your 8 p.m. Wednesday slot. And then you can like shoot an email back at them and say, okay, yeah, whatever. We'll get it set up. And, but that's very interesting to me how people do it. Then the problem is when you read about these tarot things, then you always pops up, some negative YouTube video pops up where somebody's like, well, be careful of this. And I'm like, oh man, how do people end up making something fun and encouraging like such a drag sometimes? How do they do that? It's like, God, lighten up, people. And then I found out that in the state of Pennsylvania, tarot readings are still technically illegal. All fortune tellers are illegal. And I was like, well, then don't be a fortune teller. You can still do tarot. Nobody needs to be a fortune teller. I mean, tarot is nothing more than protected speech. You're looking at images, artworks, and talking about what they suggest. That's all it is. and so, but I think what they mean by illegal in Pennsylvania is people that set up shop and say, I'm going to give you a prediction for what will happen, or I'm going to remove some curse from you. And in order to do that, you have to pay, a special extra fee for curse removal. I think that's what sort of it goes on around it. That's what I'm gathering. But still, nonetheless, I was like, okay, guys, something really fun and cheerful and interesting to people. There are some people that just insist on making them unfun. And you run into that. And it's like, oh, God. Oh, here's another video about this. It's like, I tend to have fun with tarot, and I look at it as a philosophy. Really. A very artistic, beneficial kind of philosophical approach to figuring out our own, our own little mysteries. So. And the whole act of streaming tarot, I like all of the little, the whole streaming thing, all the little technical things, even though I forget to push the right buttons sometimes. It's a lot of fun, really, figuring all that stuff out. Like, how do you do two images, like this image and this one under here? How do you get that? All that kind of stuff. It's fun. Whoa, Justice. I haven't seen that card in a while. The Justice card. I was always bored by the Justice card. Because, it's all about balance, fairness, everything being equal. These are all good things, though. So I don't know why it bored me. Maybe it's just that the image has always sort of bored me. I don't know. But, Justice also has the sword. So you can't forget that. Justice is able to be incisive, is able to also back up. So see, behind justice is always force. You can't really do justice without the threat of force behind it. Very important to remember about this card. The sword is there. It's also analytical. The sword is there because, to parse a situation and find justice is very important. But it's also representative of force and conflict. Justice is looked to when there's conflict. It's not just about balance and fairness. It's about enforcing balance and fairness. You have to be able to back up and protect justice, right? I think this week at some point I'm going to put my tarot deck up on the printer service. I've been so slow and hesitant to do that and actually order them printed. I think it's time to do that. I don't know why I've been dragging my feet on doing that. It's just really silly that I've done all that work and they're just sitting there and I'm ready and I want to see them printed, and for some reason I refuse to sit down and do the drag and drop to take the images and say, okay, print this one and this one and this one and this one. And I just have to do that. So I'm going to sit down one of these evenings this week and upload all those darn things to the printer and say, okay, print. So that'll be good. And then the debate will be whether or not to use those cards. Should I or shouldn't I? What am I going to do? You never know. Never know. It's not so easy to use your own tarot cards, I don't think. Because you might look and go, oh, that one isn't good. I didn't do that one right. I want to do it all over again. But that's the point of printing them. You have to print things. You can't just look at them digitally. You have to print them because that's what their final form is. So in order to see if they work or not, you have to see them in physical form. So that's probably why I'm dragging my feet, is I'm nervous about seeing them in physical form. Probably that's what it is. I have to get over that. Well, yeah, I highly recommend, actually, to anyone who's interested in tarot, to draw tarot card. And I'm not saying like draw all of them. Just draw one. Highly encourage it because it makes more understanding of the tarot card. So you can pick a card and just sort of sketch it. Just sketch it on note paper real quick and just see what ideas occur about that card in general. It's very interesting. And it sometimes it even leads you to do a little research on the card to get clearer impression of it. I just drew the 5 of Cups card. It's a Knight of Cups, I'm telling you. 5 of Cups. 5 is that kind of, it's the number of unsettling. Something new has suddenly appeared. New idea, new feeling, something that gets us off balance. And it's not off balance in a horrible way. It's like, gives us this feeling of potential, basically, something developing. That's basically what it is. I actually kind of like the 5 number in tarot. I think I will use my deck, actually. I don't think I'll have any hesitation to use it once it's here. Good. I think this has been a very good, fun stream. I think I'll sign off for tonight. I'm coming back on my scheduled Wednesday. Wednesday evening will be another one. I think I should sign off so I can get, I actually have to end my day. Been kind of busy today. But I'm glad everybody stopped. I'm going to try to raid somebody. Let's do that. Let me raid somebody. I'll send you guys who are here off to someone. Let's see I keep accidentally sending people to rating channels that are not in English. So, let's see. Let me see. Don't worry, I'm going to get you off to someone. Let's see. You're going to go running off to Treasure X Trove is streaming. I'll send you to her. She's trustworthy. She's good. Treasure X Trove. Yeah. She has a good stream going. All right, good night, everyone. It's been great. I'll be back Wednesday. Come in on Wednesday. Okay, here we are, going off to Treasure X Trove.